Good morning, Lafayette. It is good to see you this morning. I am a little bit late this morning. I had to go pick up one of the grandsons. I am your meteorologist, Brian Burden, on duty this morning to give you the forecast of what's going to be happening not only today, but tonight, tomorrow, and for the next couple of weeks. Over the next hour, we will talk almost specifically weather and post-baseball blues after last night. Well, we went to a ball game last night. The game was a great game. It was fun. Didn't really have any dog in the fight there on that one. It was the Giants against Cincinnati in Cincinnati. Got back late last night after the ball game and then had to go pick up the grandson this morning who got sick from school. So that's where I have been and where we were going, and that's why the label says post-blues from the ball game out there, right? So I'm kind of doing this on the fly. You'll be seeing things that you don't see, generally speaking, from me. I didn't have a chance to change any of the charts from yesterday. I don't mean charts, but like yesterday I had gone and cleaned up the computer a bit, and as you know, sometimes you miss out on some things, and then I must have cleaned up some stuff and got rid of some stuff that was actually in OBS, which does my graphics and stuff, right? So they're missing. You don't have a piece above at the top that says Let's Talk Lafayette, and one at the bottom that says Lafayette Live or something like that down there. So those are going to be missing, but I didn't get a chance to go fix them because we went to a ball game yesterday. Hey, had a good time. And I'm kind of coming in this only remembering what we talked about yesterday. I haven't seen any of the new charts or anything, so it's going to be fun for me just as it is for you as we get into this. And yes, as I said, the ball game was beautiful down in Cincinnati. Nice park really downtown there. If some of you have been there, really enjoyed that very much. And then maybe we'll get to a Wrigley game later this year. We'll have to see how that goes along those lines. So let's get into it, right? Let's get into the weather. What's going on, Brian? You're talking too much. Let's see what we've got going on. Let me see what I have here. Let's switch straight over charts. There we go. Bam. There it is. But remember, usually I have a graphics up across here so you don't see much of this and across the bottom. So that's what's missing out of here. Hopefully I will figure it out and remember to fix it later today. And by tomorrow it'll be all new. And it'll be Friday anyway, and none of you will be watching me anyway. So of the three of you who are watching. As a matter of fact, I better get my my little indicator telling me whether I'm on the air or not on, and that is basically just getting on YouTube and seeing if it's running. That's all it is. It shows it on here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it looks like we're in there. Do we have any sound? Oh, we got sound, so we're good. All right, that means I'm not just lipping everything, right? You caught that. I knew you caught that. All right, what is it outside right now? It is 64 degrees in Lafayette. There is some light rain. I can say that because I was driving back. It's a little bit more than a drizzling rain. There are some drops. It's not quite the drizzling rain, and it's getting very bright out towards the west. So those are some good indications to me that we are starting to clear up a little bit. And that was just for my drive over to Harrison High School and back, picking up one of the grandsons. So he's got a little upset tummy, so don't hold that against him, all right? Winds are out of the southwest right now at 10 miles an hour, and visibility is at 9.9 miles. Basically, we call that unrestricted. Anything 7 miles or greater. We don't start worrying about visibilities until it gets to the 6 mile mark or less, and that's generally just for your pilots, right? That's your aviation world. You and me driving around, it doesn't matter if the visibility is 3 miles. Usually doesn't bother us too much, but it does bother a pilot. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so 64 degrees Fahrenheit, says a high of 79. Will we rebound like that this afternoon? We talked about that yesterday, about the potential for rebounding, and that even though this is kind of a weak cold front going through, it's not going to do a lot to our temperature. And we were pretty warm yesterday, I think, too, although we were kind of dodging clouds and, an occasional shower here or there, and a thunder bumper here or there. We didn't really get into too much of the details of any of the severe weather like a lot of places did. There were different places, especially up into southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, big swath there. And then, of course, back down to our southwest, Oklahoma, Kansas, they got into some pretty severe weather down there yesterday, too. but not nearly as much in Indiana or anything around our neck of the woods. All right, so 64 shows 79 for a high today with a low of 52. That might come around midnight or so tonight. So, but notice another warm day again tomorrow is on tap with temperatures far exceeding 20 degrees above normal right now. We should be somewhere around 62, 63 for our highs. So 79 and 82 and a 76 yesterday is far above normal. And then it looks like there might be a little bit of cool down, which we started talking about yesterday, and we'll get into more of that today. I've even lost track of what day it is. What is it? It's Thursday, April 16th. Wow. Thursday, April 16th. So at least on that front, we'll be able to maybe my mind will get a little bit more focused on what we're doing here as we get through the morning this morning and trying to do that. And you know what I noticed? I noticed I'm in the same shirt as I had on yesterday. I just threw it on to go pick up the grandson and didn't change it out when I got back home because it took me about 45 minutes to go get him and come back. So, all right, let's get into it. Let's look at some of the charts right now. We saw that's what our current temperature is, 64, and there's some sprinkles and very light rain still left over in the area, but most of it is clearing. This is what the satellite looks right now, and very easy to kind of put where things are at on this chart pretty easily, right? One is big old high right here, right? One is some kind of frontal boundary coming through here like this, right? You can see that pretty easy. And then, of course, there's a high over here. We can kind of put that in a little bit easier there. And then out in the mountains, oh, look at that, a little bit of a tropical express coming into the south down there in the Southern California, a little bit of cloudiness there, and some another nice system in the Rocky Mountains, although it's, in the Rocky Mountains, it's kind of just starting to get itself set up as it comes out. So we're going to have to see what happens. What does this high right here do for us? It doesn't look like it's going to do much to bring in cold temperatures. Just going to kind of bring in some temperatures that are similar to what we have seen. And then the bigger system may be coming in over the weekend to try to cool us off a little bit, maybe up in this region up here on the charts right now, so you can see it there. So we can see that there's still plenty of cloudiness over Indiana, Illinois, moving out. Let's see what we come in a little bit closer and see what we can find. Let's come into the regional sectors here real quick, which gives us, a good look at the Midwest, right? You can see how nice it is out to the west of us right now. Lafayette is right here, right there where the little blue dot is, if you can see that on there, and the arrow's pointing right to it. And the clouds just have not quite cleared. Now, the good news is this morning, right, that most thunderstorms, if we were able to pop one this morning, would be on the lower varieties, more stable atmosphere this morning. And it looks like there's plenty of rain up to our north. We could see something really down along the frontal boundary, but my guess is, just because of seeing yesterday and remembering it, is that there will be thunderstorms along this frontal boundary down here, but it'll be over in here today, right? So southern Indiana, maybe into Ohio, back down through western Kentucky, western Tennessee potentially is where we'll see a lot of that on the thunderstorm fronts. Let's switch over to the mosaic real quick and see what the radar looks like on this. And you tap it out, you can see it there pretty easily. It looks like most of the rain has passed us already, although I see one little lone shower there still on the horizon. Everything else back out to the west looks pretty quiet. Let's go in even closer on that. You can see a lot of rain, first off, in Michigan, just to give you a heads up. That's where most of it is, and then coming down and along. And sure enough, you can see that the thunderstorms, while they're dying away down here, this will be a place where they'll pop up again later on during the day, and we'll have to watch out for those folks there. Let's go in localized in real close to Lafayette. All right, Lafayette right there. You can see most of the rain has cleared. Most of this has been light rain. One lone shower or a thunderstorm caught right there. You can kind of see it on the tail end as it's moving. Let's see if we can follow it up right about to there. So that's where your rain showers are right now. That one does look like, at least on the south side of town, you might get some rain out of it. Those of you north of town, kind of looks like it wants to split the county pretty easy, and it's just on the south edge of that. As we watch that kind of moving up. And its general movement, catch it right at the end there, it does look to be almost due northeast out of the southwest on us on that front. So let's keep an eye on that thunderstorm. Let me switch over to the lightning chart real quick here. The lightning maps. You're going to see me change over these because I don't have any of them set up. I literally just came over here and I started working on these things. There we go, lightning maps. On that front, here we go. It comes out. Is there any lightning associated with that? And that would be a big nada. Nada. Sorry to throw the language thing at you. That would be no. That would be no. No lightning anywhere seen in Lafayette. Let's see. I think I need to go out. There we go. How about that? There you go. So now you can see the state of Indiana. Come on, catch up, computer. We're in here. There we go. Not much happening Indiana-wise for thunder at all with this. No lightning being seen. So that's the good news on that front. We'll get rid of that chart. We'll come back to where we're seeing the radar. Looks like mostly rain out of this. Still, it has a little more intensity to it, as that one small cell, which is only maybe 5 to 10 miles across in any direction. Not even that, probably. Could pop a lightning bolt out of it. I wouldn't be surprised. But right now, nothing to really worry about other than a shower south of town and on the south edge of town, it looks like right now. All right, so there's where you've got that. And even when I zoom in, like if I changed it over and went back to the visible shot, you see a pretty complex bit of clouds, but I don't see any tops on any of this right in here, right? I'm not seeing like thunderhead cloud, anything, you would see a cumulonimbus tops on that possibly, or at least even a little bit of buildup. So it makes me definitely think that we're just talking rain here more than anything else. But we'll come back to the radar shot and keep an eye on it as the hour goes on. Let's go ahead and open up just a new panel here. And I'm going to go, of course, we're going to go to the College of DuPage page. Get that one? Got that one? Right? All right. I think it's going to let me go. Here we go. All right, we're going to get in the HER. The HER model's now 41% done. It's, quarter after the hour now. I'm kind of bummed that we don't get the full thing in right away, that we only get the first half of it, right? But let's see what it's got in it. And right now you can see it shows the scattered showers kind of running across us. It doesn't show anything spectacular there. It shows a low-pressure system up to the north, maybe a little baby low along with it. It's kind of, you can almost draw a frontal system in there like this, but this is probably, looks to be more like a trough than anything else, just associated with running in and along with the system as it moves along. But here we go over the next few hours. It dries us out pretty nicely, which is exactly what we were expecting yesterday. Nothing's changed there. The rain is pretty much out of the picture all day. This goes out till 8Z, which is 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I didn't see anything there rain-wise really to worry about. And you can see that on the radar pretty easily. And I see our flow at the beginning of the day is kind of coming from the west a little bit more, but then it rebounds and then quickly by the afternoon into the evening starts to come out of the southwest again, which will bring up some of the warmth too. On that front, at least as we take a look at that. Now, that's just for today when you're looking at the HER there on that model run and the time frame on that. Let's go back to where we are now. Let's throw in the temperatures here real quick. Let's see, surface temperature. I think we got it there. And you can see where we're at this morning, what we're looking at. This is 10 o'clock, and it's showing around 63, 64, kind of like what we have out there, right? It's not too far off. Lafayette is right here. Right there. All right. And then as we move on through the day and into the afternoon, here we are at about 4 o'clock. It's only showing 73 or 74. So I feel comfortable going with 77, 78. And isn't that what the model said when we looked at it a little bit ago? What did it say for today? It shows 79. So it's even warmer. So the new run is going backing off a little bit from that as we see it on there. So I'm trying to lock this color wheel in. I'm trying to figure out how's the best way to do that. And it keeps changing on me after I use it, and I use the different colors, which is annoying. All right, let's get back into it. Sorry about me stammering on in a different direction. But the 80s are not that far away. They're out here over just to the north of St. Louis, trying to spread in. And isn't our flow from that direction right now, right? Our flow is moving right along that here throughout most of the day today. And then late into the evening hours tonight, it wants to shift back around to the south. And to see that, you just go ahead a few charts. And it's actually pretty light into the evening. But look at, okay, so you can see the isobars are starting to go this direction, and the wind barbs right here, even though they're only 5 to 10 knots, are starting to go southerly too, which means more warmth. Hence the reason we're not going to change our temperature a whole bunch in the next couple of hours, right? Oh, Bill's out there. He said it's 70 degrees where he's at. He's has some off and on showers. West moving this way, and it looks like it's going to be mostly fall apart as it gets closer to him. And he's down Tennessee, northwest of Nashville. His bunker, I cannot tell you where he's at. We got to keep him hidden for now because I may move in with him someday. I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. Bill didn't hear that. Bill, I may move in with you someday. Okay, so there you go. I don't think he heard that. What do you guys think? All right, so there you go. Here's the lows tonight, overnight. Here we are by tomorrow morning, like 7 o'clock. It's just in the mid-50s. Not bad at all for this time of the year. You know, with the highs generally being 63 around the middle of the month and your lows being around 41. Nice warm morning tomorrow morning, and we'll probably rebound pretty nicely tomorrow as we have all expected throughout the last couple of days as we've talked about it, right? So let's go to the NAM-NEST, which goes out a little farther, and temperature-wise, it shows a little warmer in the morning, but still pretty close to about the same temperature, and we're talking 57 or so, somewhere in there, to 53. There you go. See, it drops off all the way down to 53, 54, so it's up within a degree or two of the other one, which was 54, 55, and then wasn't warm up to tomorrow. It shows 80, getting us all the way up to at least 80 tomorrow during the day into the afternoon hours, and 78. But what does it show for today? Let's go back to that real quick here. And it shows 74, 75. So that upper 70s is not out of the question for today here on the NAM-NEST showing up there. And then overnight, then we're back to tomorrow. Here we go. Sorry. Trying not to throw you off, but kind of just doing the old weatherman thing, zipping through charts, you know, kind of thing. So here's our flow, which is a little more, if you know a little bit about isobars and wind barbs, there's usually, because we're in the northern hemisphere, there's a deflection to the right of, 10 to 20 degrees. It's not always exactly with it. And then you can see here, a lot of the wind barbs are coming from the south, but the isobars are moving in this direction. So, you'll see that deflection, and it just has to do with the circulation of the Earth and rotation of the Earth, and that's why they're not exactly with each other all the time, but they're similar. So, and that's why you'll see me always reference them. A lot of times I'll reference the isobars and the arrows that would go up there, but the wind barbs might be a little bit off, and you can see that a little bit more right there. So, just on that front, giving you a heads up there for those of you who even care. What do we got going on, though? All right, so here we've got, trying to see where my buttons are here, and we see we get up to like 80, right? But then here's the front coming through for Saturday. We know that's been coming. It's still very distinct and easy to see, all right? And so here we are at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning. So that's tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and it's still 70 degrees. 70 degrees at 2 o'clock in the morning. But look at what's on the horizon, not very far away at all. Saturday morning, we get cooled off a bit. By the time you wake up in the morning and say 8 o'clock, it's down to 50, which is, at least closer to normal for this time of the year. And just a couple hours later, it's down to like 46, and this is at noon on Saturday, So there's some ball games you got going on. It's going to be a little chilly on Saturday, especially compared to what we have seen as of late, right? And then they'll start to see the rebound later on in the day. At least that's what it looks like on this front right now. Now let's go out to the longer range and just take a look at the temperatures first off, since we're on that those charts right now. And this is the GFS. And the global model shows the same thing. You're seeing 53s, 54 in there. We drop into the 40s, but remember we were talking about Sunday morning being rather chilly on Sunday morning, and there it is. We're back to like 39 degrees for our low overnight, which is only a degree or two below normal for this time of the year. So that's pretty much, I would call that normal temperature Sunday morning, but you're going to be greeted by that pretty chilly morning after we've been in the 80s. That's going to be pretty cold. And the high on Sunday is only right around 52. I would go with 55 pretty easily here. I feel comfortable with that, unless there's some rain in the forecast there. And then Sunday or Monday morning, even colder. down to like 35 right there on Monday morning. So even chillier there. Remember, the second day after the front comes through, so the front's going to come through on Saturday. So Sunday morning it's cold. Usually the second day after on Monday morning is when you see your coldest weather, probably 80% of the time. That's how that works out. And sure enough, it's going to be 5 degrees even colder on Monday morning. So frost, well, maybe frost. We'll have to keep an eye on that. The flow looks like it wants to bring some warm air off of the lake towards us, so maybe that helps out. Pockets of 20s up in southern Wisconsin and Michigan right now during that day on Monday morning. So we'll have to watch that. But it rebounds pretty nicely Monday afternoon, and we're back to around 60 degrees, which is near normal. So Monday looks to be pretty normal. And then Tuesday morning, still pretty warm now. We're rebounding back and getting some of the heat. You can see the directions of the winds changing back around, and we're starting to pull in some of the warmth out to the west and south of us. And we get back to about 65 to, let's shoot for 70 on Tuesday, right? And then we stay pretty warm overnight, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And Wednesday we start to bring in some more of the heat again, if you call it that. But we'll go 70 to 75 on Wednesday, I would think I would shoot for there. And then let's see, on Thursday, now we're pumping back up towards 80 degrees, right, for our highs. And nice warm morning still. Again, 80, 82, 83, 84 by Friday next week. And then do we get a change? Is there going to be a change? Not much. Saturday at least looks better right now for next Saturday than this Saturday. Now we're getting a long range out there, right? So all kinds of different changes can happen. And we're not seeing any real cold, but we are getting back to near normal temperatures through the weekend next weekend, Sunday into Monday into Tuesday the following week. It looks like we're back to near normal, right? So this is Tuesday, April 28th now I'm out to. Let's see what we're talking. Highs on that day are just around 60 to 65, which is near normal. And I don't see a lot of big push of cold. I just see normal temperatures coming back to fruition by the end of the month right now. And I don't see a lot of warmth in there either. So our warmth may be kind of leaving us for a little while, where we're not going to be nearly as warm as we are these last couple days. And today, getting up near 80 again, that kind of thing. 75 to 80 is going to be a good number today. And then tomorrow around 80, that kind of thing. And then we're going to lose that for a few days. We take that shot of the cold and we get back closer to normal with a few days next week, maybe up in the 70s, right? And then the following week looks back to closer even to normal. And that would be the norm, and you'd think the model would go back to the averages the farther out it gets, right? So I don't see that being a problem right now. I don't see any distinct real big colds or real big warms on the longer range forecast that we're seeing there. But what about rain? What are we talking about with the precipitation on here? So let's go look at that. Precipitation on. I want to look at the green stuff and the blue stuff. I also want to go out a little bit. Let's take a look at these. Wrong chart. That's going to throw me off now. Well, let's go back. See if the arrow will go back one. Oh, yeah, nice. Nice. That's how you mess everybody up. Hey, look at the charts that are on here. And then you change the charts on everybody. All right. All right, where are we at? Come on. You can do it. I think it won't go to the new chart until I turn off this thing. There we go. There it is. That was exactly what the problem was. And we were in the GFS, correct? And select the run. Now let's go to winter precipitation. And that's a global shot, but we want to come in a little closer. Selector, let's go here so we can see the Midwest pretty easily. There we go, folks. We do the same stuff. Oh, I got somebody who's speaking some Spanish to me. Raul Perez. Raul, I do not have the Spanish-speaking one on here. Norte de Puerto. I picked up that north of Puerto, right? He is speaking some Spanish to me on here. He must be watching online. That's great. We have an international flair. I'm not recognizing the name, Raul Perez. off the top of my head, but maybe I do know someone named that, and I am a national man of intrigue, international man of intrigue. All right, so here we are. Here's our system today. Let's get back into this before we get bored out of our minds. And we see the front going through today pretty easily, right? All right. Then we watch tomorrow. We know Friday and Saturday are going to be kind of clear, but we're going to watch a big system coming in on Saturday. Remember, here's your daddy's system right here. Right there it is. Chances for thunderstorms, but because it's coming through early in the morning, it's going to be less of a chance for us. We'll have to take a look at some of the numbers on that, right? And see what they're putting out the sphere for that on Saturday, because now we're on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We should have a good look at that. We do see some of the colder air coming in right behind it. You see the blue line, the 540 line, in famous weather terms there. And we also see a high pressure system down to our southwest, which is going to help pull in the colder air that we were talking about. So the rain is on Saturday, right? Comes through pretty quickly. It looks like it wants to clear out by about noon, although it leaves a little bit of scattered light rain behind it, I think, with your line of thunderstorms out to the front there. And hopefully those will be on the lower side. Then we're into Sunday. Here's Sunday. Look at that. A little snow shower or two coming off the lake to the north of us, possibly. Don't see that getting to us at all. And it doesn't really show it. We're really just got the big high over the top of us. And then by Monday, it starts to reverse the high, and we start to notice the isotherms, or the iso heights here, are now also becoming in line with some of the flow of the pattern. And that means we're starting to push some of the warmth back towards us. And we'll see some of that happen. And now we're out to Tuesday. Nothing's going on there. Nothing big system-wise anywhere. We're looking good. Looks like we could get into a little area of some showers, but look at how weak this is. It's just a really spotty shower here or there on Wednesday next week. So it looks like right now we're starting off a fairly dry week. And we get into Thursday morning. Still nothing. Not much happening. We're getting maybe little systems here or there that we'll watch out for. We're not getting any big systems after this weekend right now. Same thing, just scattered light rain. There's some maybe scattered light rain overnight, Thursday night into Friday next week. And then here we are next weekend. What does it look like next weekend? Nothing. There's Saturday, still good. Sunday, we're starting to pick up some moisture. We got a pretty big system brewing next Sunday. This will be about 2 in the morning, Sunday morning, right? You see a lot of moisture all around this. You got a system and a low out to our northwest. And it's tapping into some of the southern moisture right now, and on this into next Sunday, right? And there's a lot of rain around here, and if you went and drew on this, you'd pretty easily go boom, right out here you go low right here. Then you got an occlusion, maybe a warm front, then a cold front. You'd think another low would form somewhere around here, right? Anywhere in that area is a possibility. This is more of your daddy storm, right, on this is what you're seeing here. But this is all the way out next Sunday. We're now 9-10 days out. We'll see what happens and what develops with that system. And what did it do, though? It didn't give us a big, exorbitant southerly flow. We're not getting a big, exuberant northerly flow either. We're just getting kind of a steady flow, kind of just average is what we're seeing out of this. It didn't change the pattern in one way or the other. Just kind of kept it steady. And we see more of the same, just a mix of the little systems, maybe one big system next weekend and one big system this weekend right now is the way it looks. But rest of today looks pretty quiet, looks pretty benign, so to speak, I think you would say. And then you would also be looking at the potential for this big system on Saturday moving through right there. That's the time frame right there. 9Z is 5 o'clock in the morning. That's about when you'll see the thunderstorms. The thunderstorms moving over the area. Let's see what it says convective-wise. Let's put what in that? I don't think I have one that goes out that far. Does the NAM Nest go out that far? Yeah, it does. All right, so let's see what the NAM Nest has for its convective look that far out. Does it have a lightning indicator? It does not. So let's look at some of the capes and some of the different shears, the most unstable areas. Look at that. So Saturday morning, but look where Lafayette's right here, right? Lafayette's right here, and all your shear is now already east of Lafayette, and that's at 4 in the morning, right? And we already know our rain is stopping by that point. So it shows us in a pretty good shear area overnight, but most of the thunderstorms are going to be forming down here, right? And ours do not look to be as strong, but we're going to take a look and see what they're saying, see if we're in this. Are we going to be in the area of severe weather that's something like this? But because it's at 7Z, it's at a whopping 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, right? We're not going to run into anything. We'll have to see how that front goes on that. There you go. Goes through pretty quickly. That's the shear zone on that. Let's see what else we got with that. Supercell composite potential on this. You go back. There it is. Boom, 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 boom. There's some reds, but it's kind of quiet compared to these big areas. See, this big areas out here on Friday, right? That's where most of your bad weather is going to be. Then it gets kind of quiet, kind of hopscotches over Lafayette, of course, and then starts to pick up during the day and into the evening hours on Saturday out here to the east of us. So kind of, as usual, we either get hit at night or early morning hours when there's less of a chance, or it just kind of, the bubble of Lafayette misses us totally. So that's what your potential is, at least on the front there for the severe weather, based on that and based on what we're seeing there. So let's go back to precipitation real quick. And then you can see how the run is on the, that's on the NAM nest, showing where a lot of the rain is. So watch, see how the thunderstorms actually come through about what is that, 7Z. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and it doesn't look like a real big, huge band of precipitation at all with it. And then it's broken apart and becomes another band of thunderstorms to our south. Let's go see what the National Weather Service Severe Weather Prediction Center says. We call that the SPC, everybody. And I have it listed as Storm Prediction Center. All right, so here's what it says for today. Today, everything's out to the east, right? Now we're focusing on New York and back down towards Arkansas, and yes, right through Tennessee. But to the west of most of Tennessee is where the significant area is for today. All right, so that's day one. Now, tomorrow, notice this big pattern. There we go. This is exactly what day 3 looked like yesterday. And remember, I told you a lot of times the day 3 one will be wishy-washy, but yesterday they were already focusing on this spot out to our west to keep an eye on. And because this is Friday night, let's push this out all the way to Friday night, right? Because this goes until 12Z Saturday morning, right? Which is 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And it shows potential in there for that. What does day 3 look like? And look at how it hopscotches over us. Starts to forecast into Ohio, exactly where I was showing you where it was. And it kind of misses us. So most of the severe weather will be west of us on Friday. And most of the severe weather will be east of us on Saturday. We take showers and some thunderstorms overnight on the Friday night into Saturday morning time frame. So there you go with the SPC and what the SPC is showing right now for the next couple of days. Now, but what if you're traveling? Obviously, you head out towards the west here, and you're getting into, say, from St. Louis all the way up to almost Minneapolis, St. Paul, and you got a nice big area of red here. What's the biggest problems? Well, there's a tornadic activity possibly in Wisconsin today, and then wind overnight, right? Or no, we're on day 2, so this is tomorrow. Sorry, got my times mixed up. But we have a wind pattern potential that's in through Kansas City, in through central Missouri, and then southern Iowa. That's your wind potential there. Looks to be pretty big with that. And then hail potential. You got a pocket where the tornadoes might be, and you got another pocket back down towards Kansas, Oklahoma City, and Kansas City itself looks to be involved in that, where there's some high potentials there. You put that all together, and it looks like that. And you got a big old bean there coming through, and you're going to have to watch out for it. So this is a classic good system for tornadoes and severe weather for tomorrow. But we are on the very outer edges, and our chances are slim because most of our weather comes through overnight, tomorrow night into Saturday morning. So that's why they're doing that. That's why you see, so there's a categorical that tells you where everything's at, and you can pinpoint better chances for tornadoes, better chances for your wind, and better chances for your hail when you go through those by using the toggle switches on the upper left. You don't even got to click on them. You just got to run the cursor over it, and it will tell you. It'll also give you intensities, too. When we see the jagged lines of the intensity of 2, I don't think we see any of those, do we? Nope, we're just seeing the single intensities on these, right? So that's good news there. That means they're more intense, they're swept out in more areas, and we got to watch out for bigger ones, especially when it comes to the tornadoes on that front. And then what you can do if you really want to get into it, you can come down here and you can read about every single area. And if you're a good forecaster, you would read about your area every single day. So what does it say about Indiana? You know what it says? You're not in any of this bad weather, so don't worry about it. That's what it says. So don't worry yourselves. I think that's exact words right there. Either that or that's my mother saying something to me, or that's Bill telling me, shut up, don't worry about it. All right, so there's the weather as we get through the next couple days and the predictions of where the severe weather is going to be. We know we kind of have a pretty good idea of what our weather is going to be like. In the long range now, our temperatures still pretty warm for a day or two, then a little cooler, and then we get maybe a slight warm up next week. Compared to this week, not quite as warm, and then the following week back near normal, which is now getting your temperatures into the upper 60s by the end of the month. So right now, here we are, the 15th, 16th. Your high temperature should be about 63 in Lafayette. Your low temperature about 41. By the end of the month, we're at 68 and 46, so we're going to increase 5 degrees just in 2 weeks. That's how rapidly the spring changes, right? When we go back to our charts here, when you go back to this MSN weather chart that just shows Lafayette, but you go down to the bottom of it, you see a lot of those changes. You see a lot of those big jumps. See all these big jumps that you see during the spring, right? We've been seeing lots of ups and downs for a month or so now. And you normally kind of kick spring off March 1st in your mind. Well, sure enough, that's almost exactly what has happened through the month of March and through most of April. We have been 1 or 2 days up, 1 or 2 days down, 1 or 2 days up, 1 or 2 days down. Now, right now, it's looking more of an extended period near normal for the month of May, because this will extend out all the way into May now for us on this. And, it comes a little more along lines. The dashed lines, the upper one is your highs on average, and these are your lows on average. And you can see how they're starting to go onto the upswing after the winter here and then the summer here. So this is an entire year from June to June, basically, on this is what you're seeing. And this is what happened in the last year. If you want to read, and you can see some of the cold spurts in December and how we had another big one in February. We had a little bit of warmth in October that was out of the ordinary, but the summer was actually kind of on the low side. I would call this average to below average for the summer, but you don't see that on the charts. The guys who are, hacking and trying to make money off of green spirit and all these different things happening in climate change. Oh, it was one of the worst years on record. Yet you could take a look at the numbers, and the actual reality shows our temperatures were below normal over the summer this last summer to average at the very least at the worst case scenario. But right now, look at this. Look at all these spring numbers, ups and downs and ups and downs. And remember, that happens in the fall usually too, and it was very pronounced at times, but in our fall this year, it wasn't too bad. It looked just kind of a steady down most of our fall, because so spring is definitely more active than November, October, that kind of thing. When it's on the decrease, right? So this is when the cold air is trying to come down and the warm air is receding. This is when the warm air is trying to come up and it's trying to take over as boss, right? So that's how you look at those, and that's how you kind of get through some of those as we look at it. So what about some of the other resources we've been looking at? I'm going to go right out here. Let's see what it's looking like out there, where the cameras are, because we didn't get a chance to look at those early because I just hopped in here and I didn't look at it. Well, I said it looked brighter to me as I brought in the grandson from school who was sick. And let's take a look back out towards Fowler. Well, I still see some low clouds out there. The road does not look that wet, but I do see some water in the ditch. So they did get some rain overnight at the very least. And how long it's been since the rain, it's hard to say. But very bright out to the, I think this would be to their west. But we'll have to see. I don't know the directions. It says east. Now, I don't know whether that's pointed east or the camera is to the east. I'm not sure on that. It doesn't really give you a heads up. Sometimes I know where we're at. That camera, I don't know specifically. So But how about Rensselaer up to the north here? Let's hit the Rensselaer one. There you go. There's the camera looking down pretty easily here. Roads don't look too wet there. They've gotten rid of it, but there is some standing water again now in the Rensselaer area up to the north. Some of the fields are starting to get some ponding there, so they've taken some pretty good rains, or at least enough that the farmers will have to watch out for that in the next couple of weeks with some damp conditions, at least as of right now. We were seeing a lot of this down near Frankfort in the last couple of weeks, and it just started to dry up down there in the Frankfort area. Okay, so here we are at the 231 junction. I see a damp field, but I don't see any standing water anywhere. Water, a little bit of dry, it's a little bit of wetness on the road there, and only one car. Oh my gosh, what is up with that? All right, let's come farther south down to State Road 18. And I love this kind of look of the sky. These are mid-deck clouds that we're seeing out there, and you get the bright colors and you get some darks in there. I really like the look of that when I can see that at times. So that's pretty cool that we can see that on this picture. Here it is at 43. It looks like it just got done raining here in Lafayette. The road is still at least wetter, right? And we still see some of the water in the ditches. And what I say, just 45 minutes ago, it was still raining here, sprinkling at least a little bit, right? But down on State Road 25, just a couple miles south of that, the roads are drying up already and looking much better, at least on that front. And then we go all the way down to 26 mid-deck probably, and at different colors with the sun. The sun is off to the left here. This one is looking to the south, I believe is the picture, yeah, on that one. And then you get down to Frankfort, and I still don't see any standing water anymore in the field, so that's good. They do have some in their drainage areas, so they did get some, and the field did take some, but the drying in the big lake we saw here for a couple weeks, it was here, out over in here, you can see where the darker patches were, not there today. So that's good news for the farmers down towards Frankfort. Let's come in and look at the local pictures real quick. And the roads on the north side of town up in West Lafayette are looking pretty good there. On that front, I think we'll pop down to River Road right here. Oh, yeah. At the airport, looking back towards the campus, same thing. Lots of beautiful clouds. Roads are pretty dry. You know where? It's still wet on River Road. They haven't dried out down there yet. One of the spots we want to look to, and this is, let's go over to Logansport. All right, here's the camera looking back in towards town. I believe this is what it is, because the sun is usually here in the bright morning, and the road looks a lot wetter there, so they're still bringing in some of that rain that we saw on the pictures a little earlier. And I think there's a shot in Frankfort. Nope, that one never works, does it? I always go to that one and never find a thing. Covington, that's the last one I want to see. There we go, way down there. And actually looks like you're almost seeing some sunshine starting. That's getting so bright here on this. So not bad towards Covington itself right now. So that's what you're seeing on those maps and what you're seeing on the in town and around the different areas. We even have one out by Kokomo. Let's see what it looks like there. All right, well, a little bit of rain on the pane here or there in spots. Let's go back to the radar, though, and see what it looks like. Here it is passing through. There goes that thunderstorm. It's already by, right? So, boom. I mean, it wasn't even a thunderstorm. It was just a heavier spot of rain. I don't think we saw any lightning involved with that at all. And we're looking pretty good. It looks like the rest of the day going to be pretty quiet. Going to be clearing from the west a little bit more. Let's change it back over to the satellite real quick here. There you go. We're a little too close in for that, aren't we? Let's go a little more regional so we can see a little easier. Lafayette right there. And looks nice out to the west. If you're in central Illinois, you're already seeing sunshine. Let's switch it over to a visual and see if we can see what we can see here real quick. You can see the clouds coming through pretty easily. I do see some low clouds here. How close is that going to be? Right now, that's the rotation route back where the low is itself, and we're seeing the clouds rotating around it. I see the movement is kind of here. It's close. Looks like it's close to getting to us, so we may not just get out of these clouds right away. We still may hang on to some of these low clouds throughout the afternoon and see what happens with those. There's still some open spots there too. Let's go in closer on that one and see if we can see a quick look at it. So here we are, right? And we can see these clouds cutting across right about here. I might draw a line along this, and it's pretty close to Lafayette. So Maybe you on the south side of town may see more sun than us on the north side, and up towards Rensselaer and Brookston and those places may see a little less sunshine, but still there's holes in there too. You see through that pretty easily. And these are more of the lower cloud variety. This is your cumulus that are back in here and some of your stratocumulus clouds that are back in that direction. All right, so we've kind of covered a little bit of everything today. What's the model change? Let's go back up to what it is currently. It is 64 degrees outside, winds out of the southwest at 11, so it probably feels like it's about 62 out there. We're on our way into the upper 70s today somewhere. Probably Crawfordsville, you might hit somewhere right around 80. We're here in Lafayette will be 75 to 77, but in Crawfordsville there's 77 to 80, something like that, because that line of that clouds may enhance and give us a problem. If that cloud bank shifts off to the north in the next couple of hours a little bit more, then we may get near 80 here in Lafayette pretty easily. So 79 is not out of the question at all. Tomorrow more of the same, 82 in the warm-up right before the front goes through tomorrow night, and then we cool off over the weekend, and we have a little bit of a warm-up next weekend or next week after Sunday and Monday being really chilly Sunday morning and Monday morning, right? So the front goes through Saturday. It'll be like 35 degrees Sunday morning, and then Monday morning it'll be like 31 degrees. Sometimes these temperatures are off on these just a little bit, but that look for the coldest morning to be Monday morning. And yes, we could be talking some frost on Monday morning for your plants if you have that. So sorry it was such a hurry and a rush through some of the charts and not having all the bells and whistles up there for you. But sometimes life gets in the way. You got to go pick up a grandson, all right? Hopefully he's not throwing up somewhere in the house and I just haven't heard him. His stomach was a bit upset. So, all right, that's it for today. It is Thursday, April 16th, the year of our Lord, 2026. I will be back on tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, and hopefully I'll have everything updated by that time frame. We'll see how it goes. I'm getting ready to go take a nap myself. You enjoy your day and have many blessings upon you, as they like to say.